Thank you. Welcome back. We are now back into part one regarding the application of Allen's Farm. Do we need anybody would like to speak to this, or are we going to a Councillor Bolton?
Having taken due regard for the reports that we have just discussed in private session, I would like to propose that the grounds that we previously remain the grounds for review.
Do we have a seconder for that? Councillor Tenner. Okay. We are going to have to go to our legal team for the same reasons as before.
Thank you, Chair. So obviously, if we do have to, if we're still going with the refusal, then the second part of 15.24 will apply. So it says there, if the Director of Central Services and Monitoring Officers report indicates that there is likely to be a risk of significant costs being awarded against the Council at an appeal or potential liability to pay compensation, the committee may not determine the application in a manner contrary to the advice set out in the report. If a resolution by the committee to make such a determination will be a recommendation only, and the application shall stand adjourned to the Council for determination. So any decision made tonight will be, refused will be a recommendation. So yeah, if you proceed with your vote and then how it goes. Thank you.
Okay, so the recommendation is to refuse. So if you agree with that, it is for the refusal in remaining on the application. So Victoria, if you'd like to.
Councillor Palmer.
I agree.
Councillor Banks.
Against.
Councillor Betts.
For.
Borton.
For.
Councillor Crisp. Councillor Hudson.
For.
Councillor Roud.
Against.
Councillor Tanner.
For.
Councillor Tatton.
For.
Councillor Taylor.
For.
7 in favour, 2 against.
So that was 7 in favour of the refusal, 1 abstention and 1 against. Thank you. Sorry, 2 against. My figures didn't count. Okay, so that is a recommendation that will sit until we go back to legal. Okay, we now can move on with the agenda. Planning appeals, inquiries and hearings. I'm going to actually hand over to Mr. Bailey for this one because I had no paperwork for this one.
Apologies, members. It does appear that on the agenda items, there isn't an item, but there should have been. Obviously, we've got an application that's going to come in April or quite soon in terms of other development that's potentially impacted by this appeal. And I think it's important, whilst it's not on your papers, to obviously mention to members, and obviously that was the Ivy Farm appeal decision that came forward on the 22nd of January, and effectively that appeal dealt with 6 main issues: the effect on the setting of the listed buildings and non-designated heritage assets of Belvedere House. I think it's important, members, I do apologise it's not on your papers and appreciate you could say you don't want to hear it, but I would recommend that I go through that if that's okay. In that instance, I know it's a bit extraordinary, could I ask the chairman just sort of agree or note that have agreed that we hear the Ivy Farm appeal? Is that okay?
Yeah, I agree to that.
Thank you. It's just for the minutes, for the notes. The other issue was the effect on East Malling Conservation Area, the character and appearance of the landscape, highway safety, ecology, and the living conditions of adjacent neighbours. In terms of weighing up the proposals in the planning balance, the inspector concluded that the proposal complies with numerous local policies, including through the provision of affordable housing, the availability of sustainable transport and proximity to local services, the protection of biodiversity, no harm to residential amenity, and the provision of open space. The inspector considered that the proposal would not cause a material increase in traffic or risk to highway safety, and that it had been satisfactorily demonstrated that the development would have an insignificant effect on air quality, including on the Waterbury AQMA. Harm was identified with regard to the setting of the conservation area, local landscape harm, and the loss of Grade 2 agricultural land, but these harms were considered modest, and the inspector concluded, given the council's history of poor housing delivery against local requirements, in addition to the very low 5-year housing land supply, meant that any conflict did not outweigh the benefits delivered by the development. Obviously that went through quite a long process in terms of the local plan. The appellants did not go for costs against the council in this instance, albeit it was a public inquiry. It was reduced because this committee, I think, and full council eventually went for reduced number of grounds in terms of, and took the advice of council's advice on that point. And obviously, you know, we're in a sort of an era at the current time where before we submit our Reg 19, we'll have a number of speculative applications coming forward. And obviously the committee will, you know, these appeal decisions are sort of quite important material planning considerations in the assessment of future applications going forward. And they would obviously be referred to in officers' reports because, you know, members of the committee and also officers have to apply sort of weight and determine how much weight they apply to the appeal decisions. And given the fact that this appeal decision is quite a recent decision, it does carry quite a lot of significant weight. So I just think it's important to raise that at planning committee at this stage. Thank you, members, for raising that, and apologies it wasn't on your papers tonight. I'll make sure that the report updates are included properly moving forward. Thank you very much.
Thank you. And you will be very pleased to see that there is nothing else on my agenda. Councillor Taylor, yes.
Only a brief word. I haven't said a lot. I haven't said a lot tonight. The application we've just discussed, some good has come out of that. And that is that we've now got protocols in place for early engagement with members. So hopefully we can avoid these bad developments being pushed through. Thank you.
Thank you. So I would like to close this meeting at 11:49 p.m. and look forward. Can I just remind members that on the 9th of March, we need to be here at 5:30 to hear the presentation for an application of Bradbourne alongside. We're hearing the presentation alongside Area 3, although we then have to do separate meetings after that. But we have to wait till Area 3 is finished.